if you don't think that the government is that bad and that the representatives are, great people, if you think that they're really great people, well, then why would they be spying on us? But that's the new thing that they're going to be doing, or I suppose what is old is new again. We've got a quote here from Fox News. On Monday, Politico reported plans from the Biden administration to battle misinformation in regards to the COVID-19 vaccine. The White House has decided to hit back harder on misinformation and scare tactics after Republican lawmakers and conservative activists pledged to fight the administration's stated plans to go door to door to increase vaccination rates, Politico wrote. The pushback will include directly calling out social media platforms and conservative news shows that promote such tactics. Biden-allied groups, including the Democratic National Committee, are also planning to engage fact checkers more aggressively and work with SMS carriers to dispel misinformation about vaccines that is sent over social media and text messages. Okay, so this is quite extraordinary. Did you catch that part about SMS carriers? That's the phone carriers. That's AT&T, that's T-Mobile, Sprint, do they exist anymore? That's Verizon, okay? What they are saying is that if you send a text message to a friend or to a family member or to whoever, and it includes whatever they deem as misinformation, that somehow you're going to get a message on your phone from the government, and that's going to be in cahoots with the Democratic National Committee? Like, what is going on here, and who's going to decide what misinformation is? And as we know, over the last year and a half, they tell us one thing one day and then something else the next day. So they're going to have to be correcting themselves constantly. But this does seem a little bit like spying, right? Like if you're a private citizen and you text your brother some information, whether the government likes that information or not, what right does the government have to read that private communication between the two of you and then send you messages? Like, this is the worst sort of authoritarian stuff that governments can do, and they're doing it right here. And by the way, I once again want to clap and congratulate for my good liberal friends, the 10 non-woke liberals who still remain like Bill Maher and the usual suspects, who always, complain about wokeism, complain about all the problems of the left, but then vote these people in. You always vote these people in, and here they are ushering in all of the worst anti-liberal things possible. So this is deeply dangerous. Look, we know that the government spies on us, right? Like, there's that famous moment from a couple years ago when, under oath, CIA Director James Clapper, that he was asked if I believe it was the NSA was spying on Americans, and he goes like this, scratching the top of his head. He goes, "Not wittingly." And of course, you may remember that episode of Seinfeld where they talk about when you're lying, how you touch your face, right? So if it's a little lie, you touch down here, and if it's a bigger lie, you touch up here, and if it's a big lie, up here. And he was like scratching the top of his head like a monkey. So it was an absolute lie. And so he lied under oath. And then you know what happened to him? Not only nothing, he got a job as a CNN analyst, because that's what happens in this ridiculous swamp of nonsense. So this is dangerous stuff. Like, they're going to be reading your text messages. And by the way, you're allowed to have opinions on things. You're allowed to have opinions on whatever political thing or medical thing or anything else as a private citizen. Well, I think you're allowed to, or at least the way it was set up, you're supposed to be allowed to. I guess not much longer in Biden's America. But you're allowed to share misinformation. I mean, that's just the truth. That's what the First Amendment's all about. You're allowed to have an opinion. You're allowed to share thoughts. You're allowed to share correct thoughts and incorrect thoughts and everything else. And the idea that the government is now going to be jumping in, reading your text messages, sending you messages. What else are they going to do? So it also said that they were going to work with social media companies. So now, are these social media companies tools of the government? So if the social media companies now ban anybody or block anybody or whatever, blow up people's accounts, well, is that now a direct assault on the First Amendment, which says that the government can't infringe on speech, right? Like, that's been the whole argument about social media has been that these are private companies, whether that's true or not, that these are private companies, they can do whatever they want. Well, okay, now that we know that the government is going to try to work with them to stop the spread of misinformation, that kind of sounds like the government would be infringing on your First Amendment. So lawyers, lawyer up, because this ain't getting any better.